I'll tell you, the one person that I had that with was Tommy. So when I met Tommy at MLG Anaheim,
Tommy FaZe Temper, right?
FaZe Temper, yeah. When I met him at MLG Anaheim, the only other time I've had this feeling.
And you were in FaZe at this time?
I was in FaZe at the time.
Okay.
But I just saw him so much on the screen.
Yes.
The only other place that I've ever felt this way at was when I go to like a baseball game or something and I see like Mike Trout. And I'm like, whoa.
This dude, Mike
like you
Trout.
see him in real life. Like it's weird to see the person in real life. The only other person I've ever felt that way about was Tommy, because I watched him at that point for like 2 years, seeing him online. Tommy was like the only leader too. And he used to send us like, he was like running the show fully.
Sure.
Sending us like
doing all the uploading,
unlisted videos, talking to so it was very weird. So I can kind of relate to that now that I think about it. But okay, sorry, I'm going off on a little thing. But you came in the house and then like, what else do you remember at the beginning? What do you remember then? I don't remember anything. I just know we got straight into making videos.
Most of what I remember is from the videos. Like
was your room Sensei's room before?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know Sensei ended up sharing rooms with Tico. So I was like, where's that room? So that was your room. That was Sensei's room.
Yes.
So you moved into that room and yeah, we just clicked. Like we just started going. Do you remember anything about, was there any struggles? Me and Rain talk about early on how, we beefed. I think when you came, the house was thriving. So
Yes.
I probably was not the case.
I came with a good time.
Yeah.
No, I personally never had beef with anybody. I know Norden wasn't the biggest fan of me right when I moved in because I took his 1 mil plaque for a video. But I didn't know it would like make him so mad. It was always out in the open, and I just had a funny idea for a segment, and but
That's funny.
But no, I don't remember anything. We should do a podcast, you, me, and Rain, because he'll tell us everything.
Dude, we need Rain.
Yeah,
Honestly, we just need Rain to remind us. Dude, there's things in life that I could probably call him outside of FaZe and ask him about it personally, and he'll probably know better than I will. Yeah. But yeah, I have some small, I just remember, one thing I remember about you in the house that I always appreciated, you were always just smiling, ready to help.
Well,
Any video.
How could I not smile? I was living the dream.
No, I know.
It was the dream.
We all were. This is one thing.
Nah, but it was the dream for me more than any of you guys. Trust, bro.
I get it. Again, trust me. I had the same reaction. I was you in a smaller version when I joined FaZe.
Yes.
But it was a lot smaller. When you were, it was a lot bigger when you were a fan. So I understand. I can only imagine that feeling. I definitely had it myself. But
what I remember is going to Panera Bread in the mornings in the FaZe Mobile, and then at night we would go to that one sports bar.
The main event.
The main event, yeah. And we get
used to
burgers.
watch. Yeah, I remember. Well, this is at the very end of the New York house, but one of my favorite videos that I made in the New York house is when I moved out. So basically, actually, it's funny because right now it's Ramadan, right? Which is a month where we fast all month. So in the FaZe house, I flew back to California to fast here because basically you're fasting with family, go to the mosque at night.
Yes.
So I'm not going to do this in New York. I just didn't want to. So I did it at home. And then it was at the end, it was 2016. We were supposed to move to LA at that year. So I just ended up staying there. So I was there for 2-3 months. Shout out to the guy that was running the company at the time. The guy delayed getting a house for months and months, right? So I'm just sitting here waiting. I'm like, bro, I've been out of the house for 3 months at the time. So I flew back since they picked me up from the airport. And do you remember the video where I woke you up? You don't remember? Oh my God. It's one of my, it's just the thumb. I could just picture your face. I went and I woke you up and you just had the most genuine smile and good reaction ever. It was oh my God, it makes my heart warm. I look at you, he just woke up and he's just so happy. And then that's just one of my favorite videos in the house. And then we did a lot of videos in the kitchen and stuff. But
I've low-key been holding off on reminiscing on all the FaZe stuff because I know it's going to be really great when I'm 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
Look back. I want it to be as new as possible.
Yeah,
so.
I've talked to Rain about it. It's it makes me sad sometimes. Not because of everything that went wrong or any of that
It's
stuff.
bittersweet.
Yeah. What makes me sad about it, it's not even sad's not the right word, but I get those sad emotion, I guess.
Yes.
When I look at it, when I just look at us, because I just feel like we were just young, pure kids that are just having fun. And I just I don't know. It's not that anything bad happened or went wrong why I have this sad feeling. But there's, for whatever reason, it invokes a sad feeling when I look at it. Not sad. It's some emotion because I just
it's
love
melancholy. It's very normal with
but
anything. But listen, the way that I look at this perspective, and we just briefly touched on it at the podcast, but
I mean before the podcast, yeah.
You're living your best life right now. All the people in your life are still alive, all your loved ones.
Yeah.
All you. I'm not going to go into detail about your life, but you love your life, right?
Yes. What are you waiting for? Yeah. I mean, yes. I
was going to say.
This is what I was going to say, by the way. This is what I'm going to say about you being so happy. You being so happy smiling is I love your positivity. And I wish that I could embody that because I have the really bad trait of being stressed a lot. And I cannot help it.
You got to smoke weed.
No. But there's a lot of things that stress me out. Some things very understandably. Like, we'll get to it, right? We'll get to it. This is actually.
Do you like hookah or do you like nicotine?
No, I don't
know
smoke
that's a big
anything.
stress thing too. I know a lot of Muslim people are really into hookah. So
yeah,
like
it's
Arabic
more of like
world.
Arab culture.
Arab, sorry, I didn't mean Muslim.
No, yeah, but I'm saying it's like more of the culture.
Like all my Arabic homies, they always invite me to hookah. Like,
yeah. No, I don't smoke anything. But this bad character trait, and it's not, anyways, this being stressed and letting it affect you this deeply, unfortunately, it literally engulfs my whole life. But, and that is actually one of the reasons why when we had, when you got kicked, quote unquote, right? Why we had our miscommunication is because of that exact feeling of stress. And I look back, the reason I'm bringing it up now is because looking at the New York house, I wish I just enjoyed it. You know what I mean? I was so stressed in it.
You were so stressed.
I wanted to go back to
California. You literally
California.
talked about KYS in GTA like every other day.
Not seriously.
I know, but not obviously not
but
seriously.
I'm sitting there,
like,
I'm trying to get the video out, my render fails, I'm smashing the monitor. I want to go back home, like, to see my family. It's just like, I was gonna say subhanAllah, but like, you always are looking to what is not happening, and then you can only look back and like you realize how, I don't know. I'm not giving advice. If anything, I'm telling myself to just chill and enjoy life.
dude,
as it goes,
nothing in life is black and white. Like two perspectives can be fully correct about the same. That's why, bro, I look at politics, I'm always shook because you have two people who are on complete opposite sides, who have complete different perspectives. And it's just whatever perspective you choose to believe in, bro. You can look at your life and you can look at everything that happened with the FaZe stuff and be so depressed about it and so sad about it and think, oh, I could have had 100 mil in the bank. I could have been private jet, this and that. But then you wouldn't have had the people that are in your life.
Yeah.
You would have taken a completely different path.
And I told you about it. I truly believe in,
say the word.
It's divine decree, basically.
Okay.
Everything is decreed, and we do what we have free will, and
It's a tenet,
we make
right?
our decisions, but everything is destined, right? Predestined to exist how it is. So, it's a human thing to sit back and reflect. Like, I could have, should have done this, should have done that. That wasn't even where I was going with this conversation. Like I said, I don't even want to talk about that because we've already beat that so deep in. But I was just saying, I just look back and I just feel like we were all just little kids that were just having a good time. It was a beautiful time. To your point of wanting to reminisce when you're 30, 40, I might shed a tear or two when and we're almost 30, by the way. We can't drop 30 like it's that far.
It just makes me happy.
I'm
bro.
28.
We did that, bro. Yeah, we did it.
We did. It was a great time. I love looking back at it, but I can't watch too much. I don't know.
Because it'll make you sad?
Yeah, I just can't watch it too much. So I just look at it a little bit. It's cute and stuff, and then I'm like, I gotta just go back to life. But,
well, what makes me really happy is that we're all doing well. Like everybody's alive. Everybody's like, living their life. Like Rain called me the other day. Rain called me and he apologized. He was like, bro, I like low-key have been feeling some type of way about you for these past like few years because of like all the stuff that happened. It was just a simple lack of communication. And then he just went through his text and like saw that there was actually like a small line of communication for me. Granted, I could have gone way above and beyond, but like even he's doing well. He called me. He's telling me, he's like, bro, I'm doing good. Like I'm in LA. Like I have a dog. I have a girlfriend. Like, bro, like that makes me so happy. And like, you're doing good. And like Tico, I don't really hear much from him. And I see these cryptic messages. He's like, I'm just trying to feel something. I'm like, bro.
I think he just memes that.
Okay, he's just memeing. Okay,
Tico's doing great. I was so happy to see him recently too when I did the podcast.
Okay, cool.
He's in Vegas now, but he goes back and forth between Europe. But he's doing great. He's streaming on Twitch, Counter-Strike, like the Swede he is, and he's doing a great job. But yeah, that's, I wish, it is what it is. It's not a bad thing. Like you said, everyone has lives now. Everyone's a lot older and has different things. So it's not like, we're not all going to be in the same house hanging out all day anymore. No, yeah. But I agree. I think everyone is better today than we all have been the last few years. Definitely. For sure. So before we get into some of that stuff, like you just mentioned with you and Rain's, not beef, but like, all that stuff kind of happened at the same time.
Bro, me and Rain had a huge falling out. I mean, it's
but
massive.
We all kind of had, all of that was like this big jumbled
and
thing.
What's crazy is it was all not from us. It was all, if we were on a tiny little island and nobody else was there, nobody was telling us what to do.
I agree.
We would have still been high testosterone males fighting each other, but we wouldn't have, it wouldn't have operated the way that it did. That was all off of people feeding us information.
And some bad decisions, like you mentioned, which again, I try not to sound like I'm just trying to make excuses for us, although I think it's valid. So we were so young while all this stuff was happening.
Yeah.
So even with Rain, right? What happened with him, or even with Banks, what happened with Banks at the New York house is insane, right?
Do people know about that?
Yeah, I think he's talked about it. He's definitely talked about it. And
I have a video on my phone. It's a very, very intense video of like the night that he got picked up in the ambulance.
It's
a crazy video.
Really?
Crazy
I don't think I've never seen it. I wasn't in New York when that happened.
I'm not bringing it up to like show it or
No,
anything,
I
but,
know.
like, it's
No,
like,
of course, I know
if you
you're
or
not.
Banks or anybody ever wanted like a moment in time of what actually happened on that night, I actually have it on my phone.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We won't go into too much detail. Banks has probably briefly touched on it, but like, you know, when Banks had his like, you know, he had a public like
a public and a very private one too that was never talked about.
yeah. The private one.
I don't know if you were at the house when it happened.
I wasn't at the house. I was in California, but I think we've talked about it. He's referenced it. The point is, he went through something.
Yes.
And then privately, we had someone else steering the ship at the time, so we were kind of listening to
and
his
like
advice.
that's on us
But,
too.
no,
Like
but it is.
We should
100%.
You know,
and I've apologized to Banks, just like you apologized to Rain, and Rain's apologized to you. We all look back like we should have done X, Y, and Z. But if I'm being fair, we're 19 years old. It's not something that anyone really knows how to deal with. And again, we made mistakes. We definitely communication. You should have done this and that. But bro, some of these things are situations that people never deal with in their life. Even at 40, I feel like I wouldn't know how to deal with that situation. But the end of the New York house was definitely interesting. I think that was near the end. What happened with Banks? We ended up moving to Newport.
yes.
Just really fast because there's a lot I want to talk about, but I just want to cover some of the things that we usually talk about in the podcast. So let's just real quick before we move to Newport, right? In New York, what was your life like in New York? Okay, so you were saying you're living your dream life. We're making videos. We're enjoying every moment. This is still when everything is really like at the peak for us. Happiness, content is at its peak. Friendship is at its peak, right? For your financial situation, I don't know how much you're willing to share, I guess. I mean, you seem like a pretty open book.
Yeah.
But how well were you doing in the New York house?
Better than any 18-year-old should have, bro. I mean, like, I think my max bank account that I had with Bank of America at the time, like during the New York house era, was like close to $700,000 after taxes.
Nice.
No, before taxes, because I had to pay. So that was the max. That was the highest that it was ever at its like peak. My lifetime earnings on YouTube are obviously higher, but like that was at one point what I had like in my bank account during like that.
And you were in New York house for like, not even for like a year. Yeah, for like a year.
This was like, yeah, I mean,
Not
like,
even
we
a year.
grew a lot during that year, bro. There was a time
2015,
there was a
thing,
time
yeah.
when you and me and I think Adapt were like the only ones at the house. And that was like when we were getting our million view videos every day. Like
Yeah,
the 24
I remember
hours
that week.
Remember it was the juice week. It started
I
with
don't know
you.
what
I don't
happened
remember
that
what
week.
video you made.
It was the class presentation that I just told you about.
Oh my God.
That was the one. It had like 4 million views. The kid got 300K subscribers. And then every video I posted for the next week had like 1 to 2
and
million
your
views.
juice spread to all of us.
We
We
our
made
juice.
good videos too. Like we took that juice and like right around the same time I made the prank on Adapt where I had Marola dress up as a clown and Adapt punch him in the face. Remember
clown,
that?
Yeah. The clown thing was huge at the time.
That was
too.
a real, not scripted prank.
Yeah.
You know, so many people are scripted, this, which is fine. I don't hold it against the entertainment. You got to entertain the people, give them what they want. If you got to fake it, you got to fake it. It is what it is. But that was not a fake prank. Like
Yeah.
I legitimately set that up. Like, you know, and it's like, again, we had a momentum. We had
Yeah,
like
we all fed off each other. That was the beauty of that house. But so you made a lot of money in that first year. Was it just YouTube AdSense or were you doing brand deals?
Purely YouTube AdSense. I mean, Gordy got us a couple deals here and there.
Yeah.
I just brought up we played Rainbow Six Siege before it ever came out. Me and Apex got paid to play Rainbow Six Siege by the developers of Rainbow Six Siege just to play it. I don't even think we had to promote it. We came to like a private.
No, I
had
to make a video.
Oh yeah, we all had to make videos. Facts. But
me, you, and Tico. I remember now. I remember recording that.
and before it ever came out. So now Rainbow Six is a huge game. Just know, me Apex got paid to play the game before it was even released.
The good days. It actually happened with me and Apex Legends too.
Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. Good days, man. We should bring back those brand deals if any of you guys are out there. But
we got to start it up. Listen, here's what we do.
Wait,
you
hold
want
on.
to become actually rich off content? You, me, Norden, we all hop on a Discord call once a day and just talk about current events and just shoot. And we upload that. You know the All In podcast with like Chamath and all those billionaires?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
all they do. They're just homies who squat up and like just talk to each other. Bro, let's dedicate half an hour, 5 days a week, an hour, just talk about current events on a Discord call.
Right, I mean-
you will be 6 months from now, you'll be a millionaire. I promise you.
these guys got the whole plan. We gotta talk.
Bro.
We gotta talk off the.
This is what I do, bro. This is what I do.
Well, okay, so
Except for myself. It's funny because like I do for everybody.
I want to see what you. That's what I'm gonna ask you what you do today. But before we get into all that, did you invest your money at that time? Anything in?
No, nothing. None of
So you
it.
just
I
made
should
YouTube-
have. I should have done a combination of
My guy,
reinvesting
should have. You were 18.
back
right.
into my YouTube.
And this was before everyone was the freaking Chad on TikTok that knows how to invest and watches
Yes.
all these influencers and.
No, I mean I had
Nobody really, we didn't really. I mean, I don't know about you. Maybe your dad actually had a little more.
No, I mean
experience.
my dad. If I had at any point went to my dad and said, "Hey, Dad, look at my bank account," he would have obviously been like, "Yo, let's make sure that this is But like my parents didn't even know. Like it's like,
Yeah.
my parents were like, they didn't even want me to. They wanted me to go to college and not go to the FaZe house. They wanted me to,
You got to a very big college.
I did. I got accepted to a bunch of great schools like UCLA, UC Berkeley, this Banana Slug, Santa Cruz, UC Santa Cruz.
Yeah, I know. I mean, as someone who grew up in California, all my friends were trying to get into either Berkeley or UCLA.
Well, because I wrote so in college, when you apply to colleges, you have to write an essay. I definitely was not a good enough student to get into like those schools. Like I didn't have the grades for it. But on my essay, your college essay, everybody needs to write an essay to tell your school about something about your life, yourself. I basically in the essay, in a very nice way, said, hey, I'm already more successful than one of your graduating students will be even 5 years after they graduated. All you want is to show that you can bring somebody in who's a success and then push them out to the world and said, hey, this person came from our school. That's all a college wants at the end of the day. So I just showed them that I was already doing big with the YouTube, which I was. And then I got accepted basically everywhere. And I had a really good ACT score, ACT. The SAT, I studied every Sunday for like 8 weeks up until the SAT. I went to SAT prep class every Sunday. Absolutely bombed it. Terrible. And then my mom said, why don't you go do the ACT? And with zero practice, I got like a 31, which I think is like 3 or 4 points off of like the max score you can even get.
Well, you could have, did you ever think of what you wanted to do in college?
No. Hell no, bro.
You're just doing it for fun.
I had no clue.
Well, this worked out a little better probably
Yes,
for you.
I know.
So did you have any stress in your personal life that was added from that money? Again, I think it's one of those weird things.
No, not money. No, money never contributed to stress. My father had some substance abuse stuff during the whole FaZe House era, which was like that was definitely the biggest draining thing. And like, I actually had to fly back multiple times for that and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So that was the only stress that I had outside, but like, that's all great now. And like, everything's super good with fam. My dad, the best ever, like came off that, like is an absolute G now. He's a beast.
Awesome.
But besides that, my life was perfect, bro. Like in being in FaZe, I mean, I was just living the dream every day, bro.
Well, I'm glad though to hear that your dad's doing good and your family's doing good in
you.
Austria. So when we went to Newport, one thing I could say is that I feel like you went through a pretty big change. Your personality, maybe.
Oh, you're talking about like the I think from the
from the outside, yeah.
From the outside. But you living with me, I didn't really change my personality. I was just a young person exploring like, different things.
So this is the thing I always say is that time in Newport, everybody hit a certain age and a certain amount of years put into YouTube where we all were like trying to explore other things in life. So unfortunately, some people it was bad things. It was some drugs or whatever, this and that. Some people just, wanted to build relationships. Some people wanted to party. For you, I think your change was music, which you just told us that you. I'm not saying it's a bad change, but it's a clear change that happened.
I wouldn't be offended if you said it was a bad change because
I'm
again,
not. But I want to talk
to you
earlier
earlier about multiple perspectives being true. You can look at that and be like, him going into music completely derailed his YouTube. And and all that.
And I'm sure you don't feel that. I'm sure people feel that way, but I'm sure you don't feel that way.
No, absolutely.
So I want to talk about it. So we moved to the house. I think because you mentioned before that making YouTube videos felt like you were putting a fake version of yourself on the internet. Okay,
not fake, but high energy. Like you had to be your best like self. Like even right now on this podcast, like I'm low-key a little bit like
you got a lot of energy for sure.
Because I'm nervous and I'm excited. I haven't been on camera like this in a minute, bro.
For sure.
And I also haven't seen you in a minute too.
I know. It's been a long time. I'm that makes sense because when I hear a fake version of yourself, I'm like, all I've known from you is that you are genuine, the person you are
all
on
of us
camera.
Were real. I don't like using that word fake.
No, but that's why that's why I want to clarify.
We just had to amplify who we were.
No, because I think you were exactly who you are on and off camera, right? So clearly, you said when you were a kid, you did the piano thing, you had the music thing in you. So maybe the music was always a part of your personality, even when you said the diss track. We didn't really get into the diss track in New York, right? But you did the diss track. As someone who was your guys' best friends at the time, right? I feel like you guys all got super into things, and it didn't seem natural. Some of it, like the chains and the clothes and
looking at it from the outside, it didn't seem natural.
I'm saying look at it from the inside.
But when you're like doing it and you're feeling it, and it's like that's just like if I look at my life, I would go back and do it exactly the same freaking way.
I'm not saying you guys did it for the wrong reason.
I needed to explore that part. I
completely get it. I just it felt like I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it to you. I don't have a thing. I don't have a conclusion in my head of how I feel. I just remember it just didn't feel like you guys. Sure. I feel like when I moved to Newport,
that same.
I'm sure
what
you guys
you're saying resonated with our audience too. Like that's how our audience felt. They were like, "Who are these people?"
I feel like maybe you guys feel the same way about me in other ways. I just specifically remember that people just started just people just looked like this in New York, and like 2 months later, everyone's like, there's a whole different personality. Tommy too. Tommy had like a whole, you know, everybody just kind of changed. I think it's natural at the point we were in life. But the music for you, I like to refer to this as the Woki Masabi era.
The Woki Masabi.
Everybody loves Woki Masabi. Come on, that was so viral. It's insane.
That music video, we shot it in Pelican Crest Hills.
Yeah.
Like, bro, one of the highest net worth neighborhoods in the entire world.
And
bro.
Kobe Bryant was your neighbor.
We brought
Imagine
Lambos
Kobe
into
Bryant
there.
drives by and you're doing fresh.
He drove by us all the time, bro.
And I know, but when you're filming,
bro.
when you're filming the music
RIP,
video.
he was walking with his
Okay,
girl,
so
bro.
what? That was obviously a huge change.